The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. Scump, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance, auto, renters, and home insurance that's made to help the military community protect what they've worked hard for.
Howdy folks, and welcome to day 3 of the Paris home series. We are starting the day off right. Atlanta FaZe taking on the London Royal Ravens, both teams in search for their second win so far of stage 3, as this group just continues to get even more interesting. As it is Lando and Standy bringing you guys the action. Starting the day off right, like we said, Stud. We had a long day yesterday, and I guess we'll have probably a longer day today, but I'm expecting some great matches.
Yeah, I'm definitely expecting some great ones, especially with our first match coming up. Both of these guys coming off their last series, an intense Game 5 for both of these guys. So I'm excited to see what progression that they have been able to put together ever since that match. And now coming into today, it's going to be a tough matchup for both of these teams.
Without a doubt, like I said, in regards to the way that the CDL works now, I know it's been a kind of a primary topic of conversation, is that no series is easy. When we talk about those playoffs, how important that it is in regards to the major. Every map matters, to put it lightly. But hey, like I said, we've already kind of talked about our teams. Let's go ahead and meet them, starting things off with the Atlanta FaZe.
The game has turned on its head.
Run! Run! Get onto the point! Cellium finds himself 2 more. Oh, baby! Absolutely slayed. What a magnificent comeback from Atlanta.
And there is your Atlanta FaZe. Love seeing those guys just throw around cash. Just absolutely unbelievable. Love to see it again. This roster from top to bottom. We know how talented that this group can be. And then I gotta say, as of late, there has been kind of a few conversations right around this team kind of post that stage 2 major final where they lose it to the Ultra. Yeah. They just haven't been as solid lately.
Yeah, it's hard to look at Atlanta FaZe now and still consider them that top dog, because they went to that Major 2 and they were really struggling in Search and Destroy. And then recently, throughout Stage 3, the hardpoint really hasn't been there. And this is something that we don't really expect from a roster of this caliber. We expect them to at least dominate 2 of those game modes and probably be working on 1, but it's one or the other right now. They have to get back to that form where they're really good at either Search and Destroy or Hardpoint, so they can start closing out these series a lot better.
Yeah, I know we'll kind of talk about this as time goes on. We talk about that Search and Destroy, how they've even brought in like a coach, like in particular, Tupac Thuglord here to help the boys improve in that mode. And like I said, facing off against a team today that is hungry for their 4th win. Like I said, they're currently on a little bit of a streak. It may be 1 series, but they're happy to take it. Let's go and meet the team that sits on the other side. Put your hands together for the London Royal Ravens. The Ravens are feeling good. Like we said, Stud, they are off of their 3rd win of the season, a major Game 5 versus NYSL. NYSL was hot coming into that series because they had just beaten FaZe. So we kind of have this weird situation where it's like London beat NYSL, NYSL beat FaZe. Now we have Ravens. You kind of get the point, right? It's a little bit of a crazy stat line given the way that things look right now. But speaking of kind of the eyesight sort of things, what are you looking at most coming into this series for the Ravens?
I need the Ravens to show improvement in just hard points, because so far, ever since this roster has been formed, it's been really difficult for them to win hard points. We watched them in that series yesterday versus NYSL, and it just wasn't great in both of those respawns. They weren't able to hold down certain money hills, and it just really costed them. So I really need them to step up in those game modes specifically.
Without a doubt, my friend, as now we're going to take a look at our game fuel keys to victory here for the Ravens, as you called it. They need to improve in their hardpoint holds on the money hills. They struggled mightily on Moscow and Garrison, and you see the rotations there. First rotation P2 and P3 for those second set of rotations, just not looking good on the money hills, especially in Garrison. And then what? Focus on the search and destroys. Zaptius needs to be on point. His X factor is massive, a 0.33 in losses versus a 1.75 in wins, and then also expand their playmaking. Like when we talk about this team in particular for the Ravens, control has been that mode for them, specifically on checkmate. Now, not to get into the spoilers of this series, but we will not have checkmate control. You are looking for this team to try to improve in that craftiness, like we said, on the offensive department. But now, our game fuel keys to victory here for the Atlanta FaZe. A little bit of a shorter right page study, but what do we got here?
They have to improve in their hardpoint game. 1-4 in their last 5 hardpoints, and that's just something we don't expect out of a team of this caliber. They have the slayers that they can get the talent done. They just need to work together, and then they need to keep up the slaying talent, overwhelming teams. That's one thing that was so strong. When we watched these guys dominate matches, they were walking around assassinating people at one point in their gameplay. It was just really good to see because everyone was playing consistent, and then just play around the tiny terrorists. Their dominance in search and destroy is so huge because those two guys, they just run around the map together and they take control of bomb sites. Once they realize that no teammates or no opponents are going to be there, they're still running around the map, just gaining more map control, either hitting a flank, either cutting through middle map. Just the tiny terrors in search and destroy, they're so hard to keep in front of your face. It's so hard to keep track of. You need to make sure that you're able to shut those guys down a little bit.
Yeah, I know we talk about them kind of primarily in the search and destroy, at least for right now, but how great can they be in the hard points, especially one like Apocalypse, as that will be our first map. Then we will be checking into some checkmate search and destroy, garrison control, Moscow hardpoint, and Express S&D. Now, Express makes it through. Nameless was very apparent and talking about how that map, at least as of late for FaZe, it is so up and down. You see them sometimes getting 6-0'd. On the other side, sometimes you see them dominating. We took a quick little look at those maps and modes. Matt Vito's included study. Did you see anything that kind of stuck off the page for you?
It's checkmate S&D, that game number 2. This is a map that Atlanta FaZe just didn't like since the beginning of the season. And these guys decided to play it. They're trying to expand their map pool because it's just so difficult. All the engagements are going down on one bomb site. So it's a 50-50 game for both sides. But they're feeling confident. They want to expand their map pool once again, and they're going to try it out in that map number 2, which they are undefeated on, 2-0. So it's really good for them.
It is, man. It is indeed. And speaking of kind of odd maps, I mean, like Apocalypse Hardpoint, it was a map that everybody was super excited to see at the start of stage 2. Then we never really saw it. Now, I think this is 3 series in a row, maybe even 4, but I know at least 3 series in a row where we have seen Apocalypse Hardpoint make a debut. Why do you think we're seeing it more often now, Stud?
Teams are just trying to expand that map pool. They know what time it is. It's about to be playoff time, about to be champs time. So it's all about just getting better at the maps that you cannot be good at currently. They've been putting a lot of practice into it. Obviously, a lot of teams don't have a lot of experience on it, but it's just one of those maps that can catch a lot of these teams off guard. So you're going to see a lot of teams trying to play this, trying to put this in a rotation of maps.
And we already going to begin this conversation in light of that P2 rotation over toward Temple. It was FaZe that had the spawns off the rip, and now based off how the fights are going, you see a few of these crucial kills go the other way, and it very well could be a flip. The nice plays up close coming in from Paul X. Drops to the hands of aBeZy. But really, as you're seeing, players kind of spawn across the map, but we got players spawning at P4, players spawning at P5. So back and forth we go. It's just a matter of utilizing your forces correctly. With that major gunfight win that Zaptius is able to grab, it's now London who are set up nicely for Temple.
Yeah, and that was a great P1 hill for the London Royal Ravens right there. They were able to get at least 29 seconds. Now they're going to be fully set up for that P2. But the only thing is, number 3 and Shawnee is going to spawn all the way out. So his teammates have to hold the line. They have to try to hold that backside with 3 players from FaZe pushing towards the back. And here comes the pinch from aBeZy as well. I mean, from Simp, going from the front side, he's able to take down 2. The kills going back and forth. The spawns eventually are going to flip out in FaZe's favor. But now London, with 35 seconds remaining, they'll still be able to hold this from the front. And this is not that bad if you're London, because it's going to set you up off the rotation towards that P3. You're still getting time as well.
Yeah, one player who's had a great start up to this point is Shawnee, sitting at 7-3. Runs into the 3-piece, though, of aBeZy, nearly makes it 4. An excellent job coming through from Tyler Ferris, clearing out the hill, and at the very least, grabbing the final few seconds at this P2 rotation. But again, it was the Ravens who broke on in, grabbed that, and now are sitting in a much better spot. This scoreline very well could be flipped, but we know this team, London Royal Ravens, they like themselves some Apocalypse Hardpoint. 2-0, yet to be defeated on this map, and really based off a few of their map records on this one study. They took down the LA Thieves 250 to 163. They've taken down the Guerrillas 250 to 189. So not only has it been solid wins for the Ravens, but it's been dominant wins versus some top caliber teams.
Yeah, the Ravens, they show that they really enjoy this map. It's just the way that they maneuver around it. You still have players like Zaptius who are fairly new to the team, so they have just been putting a lot of work into their hardcore game. And you see the teamwork right there, able to take down 3 players and now fight for those spawns. They should be able to get these remaining 20 seconds on this P3, but Atlanta FaZe spawning in the back towards that P5 can be scary now. But Zed, he's going to try to do everything that he can through this back P5. He's eventually going to get taken out, and just like that, FaZe are going to be able to flip. But now they need to try to fight back into this game with a great P4 hold.
Yeah, P4, really the one that you're looking at off the rip, as Arcitys was hanging behind the back turtle. Able to win a big first gunfight, but here comes the onslaught from the Ravens. Zaptius does get found out toward Coop. As you see a few players trying to make their way through mid, quite a few off spawn now for the Ravens. And it appears that Atlanta will in fact hold the line. Zaptius was attempting for the flank, he gets found out. All wiped away, and we talked about how this could be a huge hill for FaZe to not just bring this game back, to maybe even secure a solid lead if they can chain P4 and P5 together. And at least so far, Stud, they're looking pretty solid at doing that.
Yeah, and the way that they're holding it right now, they're also keeping control of that middle map. So they're trying to not set up off that flip, but 2 players are going to drop, and they're going to spawn out all the way towards Broken. And that's going to be 3. So London, they have done a great job of just trying to flip these spawns. Not gaining any time off of P4, but they know the bigger picture here is that P5. To keep those back spawns, and they have them nice and early this time. It's all about, can they hold the setup and just hold the line versus Atlanta. The push is going to come in. You see 2 players pushing around back tools. 1 player is already going to spawn out towards Broken. So here comes 2 players spawning out. And Atlanta FaZe are going to flood it.
Start to flood on in. We talked about Apocalypse, how with the spawns, how things can start to get crazy as Arcitys, the last man inside of the hill, trying to calm to his teammates. We'll go ahead and check in with that as he does fall. Ravens take control of the hill. While we step aside, let's go and listen into the communication with our Astro listening on the Atlanta FaZe.
Yo, one straight dirt, one straight dirt.
Don't hit the back anymore. Let's go.
Hold that. I got pulled
I'm trying to get your mid.
Alright, come around you.
Yeah, try and hit out. I'm holding my right, okay?
Come.
Yeah, hold right, Chris.
Nice, try and get that if you can.
Need help, butter. He's pushing me, guys.
Top TV, hold on.
Out of that.
I'll call down.
Trying.
I'm named Coop. Coop. I'm dead.
I'm trying that guy, Coop.
On Coop. Take your time.
Coop, dead.
Nice.
Nice, right? Let me know respawn.
I
Front of me.
I'm helping her.
In the window, done.
You can push it out.
Shit, MC.
No, I'm gonna go.
Alright, I have new time.
John, I'll pick up.
I don't want to push out, okay? Like, I'm helping you. Yeah, worry about your right.
Yeah, I got it.
I do.
Yeah,
Bring the shit back right.
Shawnee there, try.
My dirt. Get me dirt.
I want to Coop jump out.
Shawnee there,
Johnny, I want to lift.
Dirt.
Where did Shawnee go? Zap dirt.
Alright, hold on.
I'm right.
Nading time. I'm nading close time.
Hard
Johnny, one shot.
I need him close time.
Shot on time, alright? We working together. I'm gonna spawn out.
TP's dead.
We're together.
Johnny
Make sure we're going the right way. Listen. We're not calling out what we're doing, alright?
Responding.
Right.
Shawnee, we got time. He's on Shawnee. Go right. Let's get out of here.
Go right.
Oh, Shawnee, yes.
They go right?
I'll see Shawnee.
Flash man.
Dead. One more time.
Shawnee's on time.
Shawnee, dead.
Try help.
I need to hop. Try and get the top.
They're gonna spawn out.
I get go.
Well, FaZe, they had a great situation going for them, Stud, but make a few mistakes, and now Ravens, they are set up well for P2 as the push quickly comes in from players like Simp. He and Arcitys combined for 2. Trying to clear Raven players out as Simp goes big with the pistol. Diamante is showing up so far in Apocalypse as FaZe are able to rebound, but kind of getting back toward that Astro listening. What, was it a few moments? Arcitys had even called out, like, guys, we're not calling out what we're doing. See a few players even getting shot in the back. What'd you make of the comms there out of Atlanta?
I love how Arcitys just calmed everybody down. He said, hey, we're not doing what we're supposed to do. Let's lock in. It's time to really focus up. Let's get back into this game. And as soon as that listening ended, they did not have the spawns for P2, but Simp, he walked in and got a 3-piece, and now he's currently on a 5. So they were able to hold this for a full 60. And if you're London, this one's going to sting because they did such a great job at P1 once again. And with about 15 seconds left, they all dropped, and the spawns started flipping out. And London, they could have really grown this lead by a drastic margin. But only being up by 6 points now, it's looking like Atlanta FaZe with this remaining junk time will be able to take the lead. And you have 2 players off the rotation. They're spawning them out towards Temple, and this is starting to get really bad for London.
Yeah, this could start to get out of hand if they're not careful. This next push is going to be big, but you do notice a few players now spawning toward No Man's. One player from the front, that's going to be Paul X. doing some good work up close. They'll take down Simp. Here comes the pinch now from outskirts. And that's going to be a big three-piece. So just when we start to say FaZe in a great spot, this is where they can really start to break open the game. Once again, Stud, it is the Ravens slowing things down, making the right plays, and holding off what is an unbelievably talented slaying team. As Zed goes big for one, he drops. Really, that's kind of been the name of the game up to this point. 194 to 185. Get ready to set up now for the rotation over toward Turtle. FaZe currently in control of that. Once this hill comes to a close, it will be Ravens at what, like around 217, 216. An opportunity to break the game open and maybe close this one for themselves. But here come the fights. It's a nice double coming through from Zap and Paul. The new additions, the rookies going big, and just like that, it's now the Ravens who break in.
That was great work from the Ravens because nice and early, aBeZy was off that rotation. He was trying to get towards the backside, but there was a player from the Ravens cutting him off. So eventually they had to play a little tighter. But then winning those engagements now, they're going to have a full setup for this P4 with only 20 seconds remaining. They should be able to try to win it here. But the pinch is coming in from Atlanta. 3 players are trying to pinch in, but Paul X and Shawnee going huge. Paul X is able to take down 2, but that's not going to close out the game. So now, with them getting bad spawns, Atlanta FaZe, the remaining 25 seconds, all they have to do is do the exact same thing that Toronto did yesterday. Get this remaining junk time and hold a full 60 onto that P5, but a nade is going to come in. That's going to be 2 down. London might close it out here.
Oh my gosh, it's coming down to the wire. Only within a few. FaZe, they have to try to hop inside of the hill to try and hold off this time for as long as they can, but there goes Cell, and the Ravens will claim victory once again on Apocalypse, starting things off well and improving that record on this map to 3-0.
Man, and this is so scary because we talked about it throughout those keys to victory. Atlanta FaZe's hardpoint. Now that's going to put them at 1 out of their last 6 hardpoints that they have been able to come out on top with. And it's just going back to that listening. When Arcitys was talking about, we don't know what we're doing, we got to calm down, we're just doing whatever we want. There's just no structure in these hardpoints. And that's one thing that Atlanta FaZe is really lacking on. They need to work on that to continue on through this series and even just continue on throughout the rest of the year. They need to get better at hardpoint. The teamwork needs to be there.
I know that Zed recently on the flank was talking about how, like, hey, we're kind of down to play whatever hardpoint we can. And I know at times Apocalypse, like we're talking about the spawns, how things can easily get dicey. Like we're talking about the P2 hill, and we have both teams spawning out all the way across the other side of the map. Now, granted, Apocalypse not the biggest map in the world, but at times things can get a little bit crazy. And I know we talk often about how Atlanta, a team that can kind of thrive in the chaos, but the big conversation around them has been their ability to kind of at times get overwhelmed, get kind of caught up. Communication maybe not there, as you called it. Arcitys making that very well known there in our Astro listening, but hey man, it's the Ravens coming out early. Like we said, that win versus New York maybe kind of breathes some new life into this team.
Oh, yeah, man. That win versus New York, winning 2-3-5 is definitely not an easy task to get done. But you have already improved me. You already got me shocked that you were coming out and beating Atlanta in the hard points. So starting off 1-0, you make sure you guarantee that 2-3-5. London, they're looking really good in this series so far.
They are indeed. Well, folks, we've got Checkmate Search and Destroy up next. A major conversation around FaZe has been their improvements, how they've really worked on this mode. Going to be them who tie it up, or will the Ravens continue in their tear, winning Search and Destroy and going up 2-0? We will find out right after this quick break.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile. Now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming.
Alrighty, folks, it's about time to hop into game 2 of this series, going down between the Atlanta FaZe and London Royal Ravens. Study? We'll kind of direct this conversation toward Atlanta FaZe. A lot of eyes on this team in particular, just kind of given some recent performances. And it's kind of one thing to note that they're still very good in pretty much everything. Like we said, the struggles have only been as of late, and it's kind of easy to critique a team that has been so good and then have just started to lower things a little bit. Only thing that kind of sticks off the page has got to be that search destroy record in KD, second in record, and fourth in the S&D KD.
Man, just first overall, like everywhere, man. The only thing that's scary is that search and destroy, and they've already been on top of that. They bring in a new S&D coach, and Tupac, who is one of the best S&D players of all time. He even caused me some problems back in the day when I was trying to place a couple tournaments, and it's just so good to see that Atlanta FaZe, even though they're still thriving in those other game modes, they are still trying to improve just across the board. Now, with that being said, their hard point is really struggling recently, and hopefully this S&D is a good bounce back for them to get back into this one.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that too, because like I said, it's so easy to focus on the issues for a team that is, so solid from top to bottom. Like we talk about this team, how great they have been to start off the season, the insane record that they go on to start off stage 1 and nearly close out stage 2. Like, it's very easy to kind of point out little problems that are going on with the top dogs. I know currently in terms of power rankings and whatnot, all of us have Toronto Ultra, but I gotta ask you though, do you think that the hardpoint record, the way that they have looked in that mode, now we start out here on Apocalypse, like, do you think there is a serious problem for the Atlanta FaZe right now, or is it just a matter of working things out for them?
Absolutely not. I definitely don't think it's a problem at all. From top to bottom, these guys have 4 of the best talented players in Call of Duty. Eventually, they will get it to work out. We're only in stage 3. Obviously, these guys are currently sitting in the group at 1-1. They're just trying to expand their map pool. They know what time. They're thinking about the bigger picture. At the end of the year, they want to be able to play every single map. And that's why they're working on it right now. While this is going to be the first time we've seen them in a long time play Checkmate S&D, they've only played Apocalypse Hardpoint 4 times. So, like I said, it's trying to expand their map pool, getting closer to the end of the year. They want to be at their best form.
Well, absolutely. Like we said, FaZe, Hardpoint not going their way, but hey, maybe they could turn things around here in the Search and Destroy. As we called it, they've done a lot to try and improve on this mode. Now we head into Checkmate. This was a victory for them. They actually won Checkmate Search and Destroy. I believe it was game 5 versus the LA Thieves. Won that one 6-3. And it kind of left us wondering, saying, hey, you know what? Kind of given how this map works, all the kind of top fights that you're going to have in this plane, that's where the SMGs can start to thrive. Maybe this could be particularly a good map for this roster, but time will tell. As the early shots begin to come through from aBeZy, weak. And quite a bit of the utility that's already been tossed out, as the SMGs from FaZe will win out for the moment. And Simp, he's planting down the bomb.
The only thing is his foot is sticking out, and they're going to be able to flood in, and Zed's going to be able to take down 2. So the bomb does not get planted, and now it's a 4v3 situation, but Arcitys is going to even up the numbers. But with him getting traded, now it's all going to be up to left in a 1v1. Shawnee versus Cellium. And Cellium, he's going to be trying to challenge from the plane.
2 HP.
He is currently 1 shot with 30 seconds remaining. Yeah, it's all about just trying to stay alive. Just trying to spot Shawnee. But has he gained that information that he's rotated out? Shawnee's going to be able to spot his leg. Does he spot his leg? Yes, he does. And Shawnee's going to be able to walk away with the 1v1. Just being nice and patient, slowly crouching around the map to get better positioning, is able to come out on top there. But that play does not happen without Zed. My dog is even excited that he just made that play. So good first round out of London.
I mean, hey, man, there's a lot to be excited about. Again, what's up with the Ravens? Kind of, the start to the season, things have been very rough for this group. You'll take what you can get, especially versus the Atlanta FaZe. But best play deserving goes to Arcitys. But I think overall, in terms of the impact on the round, like I said, it's got to be Zed's play, right? His ability to shut down the bomb plant early. Nearly was, the clutch from Shawnee. Brought down Cell to, what was like 4 HP, something like that. Insane stuff. We said London, they do secure the opening defense. Now on offense, we'll see what they've got planned. The early utility toss toward that bottom plane position. aBeZy walking away with the first blood. Not uncommon for a player of his caliber and of his skill set. And that those top lane fights versus the Tiny Terrors are going to be a headache to deal with all map long. As the push for the moment halted from Ravens.
Yeah, they're just being so aggressive in the bomb site, so the Ravens can't try to get pushed up to office, to the wing, because aBeZy and Simp, they're just jumping back and forth, just playing for the challenge. But some good wallbang shots coming in from Paul. Back down Simp for the time being. But aBeZy still being in his position. He's going to be able to spot the second. That's going to be the second kill on the round for Mr. aBeZy. Arcitys is going to be able to take down the third. Last player alive is going to be Zed bottom plane, and eventually he's going to drop. And this is why it's scary to play Atlanta FaZe on this map, man. It's so difficult to eliminate aBeZy and Simp just on any other map, but the fact that they are going to be sitting in plane right in front of your face, it's really difficult to be aggressive on that site. And Atlanta FaZe, they hold on the defense.
They do indeed, and kind of one thing to kind of be aware of kind of throughout this series is how the Ravens can kind of try to exploit on their defensive rounds. This one coming up for them, they are 11th in defensive rounds right now in the CDL. 49.4 win percentage. They've got a 0.98 KD. We talk about how great this Atlanta roster is on offense. They're the #1 team in attack rounds. They're #1 pretty much in everything, Stud, as we know, but attack rounds is no different. Those defensive rounds for Ravens could tell the story of this map. Currently level at 1-1. Nice early shots come through from Arcitys, as that one will be his third in a row. Nice shots coming through from Zed as he'll go and swap over to the Krig. Diamante, unfortunately, will live to see another day as the team shots come through, but how about the double from Paul? Players dropping at an alarming rate, as now we've got ourselves a 1 versus 1. aBeZy versus Paul X. aBeZy does manage to plant the bomb, though. No problem as of yet. Paul will look to reposition, and it's really a matter of, will aBeZy start to poke out? Does he get uncomfortable toward his top lane position just because of how exposed you can be from time to time? Gonna make the wraparound. We said Paul sitting on the spree. aBeZy, same thing for him. And Paul will look to make the wrap. 15 seconds. He has to make a play soon. Starting to make his way up toward it. Is he going to get the timing? He does. Can he get to the bomb in time? And it looks as if he will. A major clutch coming through from Paul. Winning out the 1v1 and giving the Ravens their second round.
I just love the long route. The long route right there from Paul X, because he knows that aBeZy is one of those aggressive submachine gun players. There's no way he's going to pick up a Krig and try to back up and watch this bomb from a different angle. He's going to be playing close inside, so he eliminates every possibility of him going out left wing, going out right wing, even pushing up towards that back exit, and just fully flanks on the plane, man, and just catches aBeZy. He hasn't moved the entire round. Good play out of Paul X right there to just play it patient and walk away with the defensive win.
How often have we talked about Paul X? I know it's mostly on the Checkmate respawns, but just Checkmate in general seems to be this guy's playground. Paul's playground, indeed.
Yeah, he loved this map.
He is a fan of aviation, appears to be. But flying high currently are the Ravens, and for good reason, but Paul, unfortunately, the nade goes right between the eyes as he'll be taken down. Player obviously makes the clutch play. The round prior finally out of it, kind of a sweat off the brow situation if you are FaZe. Zed with a nice movement. Really does get dropped, but he will reference back. Going to try to join alongside the teammates for what is going to be a difficult bomb retake. Across, Zed will drop at the hands of Simp. Now we enter ourselves into a 2 versus 4. Zappius, he gets found out. FaZe a solid and dominant round win.
Yeah, and Atlanta FaZe, so far throughout Checkmate S&D, on the defensive rounds, they are 10-3. They have won it 10 times and lost it 3. So this is literally their bread and butter. Yeah. Where they're attacking rounds, they're going to be sitting at 4-5. They've lost 2 so far, so they're going to be 4-7 on that side. But their defense is really hard to beat. When you're trying to eliminate Simp and aBeZy out of that plane, it's a really difficult task. And with Simp hitting sticker grenades to open it up with that first blood, it's not going to be easy as well.
Yeah, we talk about, the Tiny Terrors inside of the plane, and then like, okay, maybe we could try to challenge the outside lanes. Best of luck. You got Arcitys and Cellium, you're going to be looking at you with Krig. So, not going to fare off too well, no matter what lane you like to go toward. Zappius, guy who's been kind of the X factor for this team in the search and destroy. 0.33 in losses, the 1.7 in wins. Currently sitting at 0-4. Known to be a great search and destroy player, especially in the challengers. At least as of yet. quickly. Unable to get anything going. aBeZy, a little late on the gunfight as Arcitys does take him down, but will make it right in the end. A worthy transaction as now FaZe left with man count in their favor. And Arcitys, meanwhile, is going to be able to plant that bomb down here at B.
And this is going to be really difficult for London. Just try to break into this site, but they're able to spot out Simp on this bottom wing. It'll be a big kill if they're able to eliminate him. And they do. So now it turns into a 2v2, but with Cellium turning into a 1v2 now. All left up to Paul X. They're going to be able to hear him hopping up that wing. You see Arcitys playing the off angle, and just like that, Atlanta FaZe are able to walk away with that offensive win. That's going to be their first offense of the map.
Yeah, like I said, like for me, you know, like I said, the big conversation on Zaptius, the top lane fights, how valuable those can be. And granted, you know, we do see the team kill come through, but like I said, Arcitys makes it right. You just really want to see those SMGs from Ravens firing well inside of the plane. Zap not finding a kill in that round as he now sits on 0-5. The SMGs on the other end, at least either positive or even. 3-3 for Simp, 3-2 from aBeZy. Definitely a player to look out for as this Search and Destroy only looks to get more intense. 3 rounds of 2. Atlanta FaZe currently in the driver's seat, but it could be a major round for them to go up 4-2. Again, on their defenses, which have been so good on Checkmate. Understandably so. Early utility tossed out the nades, tempting the Ravens to try and maybe go for a push, maybe even pushing them back for a moment. So they do have some nice A Street control. Looking toward top lane is Zed. Got Paul on the other side of the map, just looking for those first kills, but Atlanta playing some very disciplined COD right now.
Yeah, they're just not giving London any kind of information on the map right now. So it's really difficult for London to try to work up. That trophy is just going to take out every single tactic that they throw at this bomb. So it's not even point to even use them. With Zed pushing bottom plane, open up with that first blood. Zaptius with the trade. So that's the tiny terrors eliminated. You should be able to work this bomb plant now. In a 4v2, but with 20 seconds left, it all turns into a 1v4. It's going to be pretty difficult for Mr. Arcitys, but the bomb is going to be planted. Eventually, he's going to come off the flank, and London, the patience right there, really secures them that offensive win. All starts with Zed, his positioning. It really threw FaZe off guard right there, because usually he's a guy in plane, but when you catch him at that A site, working out towards that bottom of the plane, definitely caught aBeZy off guard. Good round right there out of London.
That kind of seems to be, maybe kind of a noticeable trend at times for teams facing off against Atlanta in Search and Destroy is to kind of slow it down a little bit. Like, it's easy whenever the team is kind of taking you down in stride. Let's say you're losing round after round. You just want to kind of be aggressive, try to get in the face of the opponents, and that's really where FaZe can punish you, as we know. And this roster, nothing to laugh at by any means. They can show you all their records, all their accolades. Easily humbled, but so the Ravens, they slow things down. We're able to bring this one now to a 3-3 heading. Back and forth. Now we'll see what Atlanta looks to do on this offense. Of course, continuing with the B plays, says maybe a gun engagement going down here soon, but it's Zed and Zaptius for the first 2. CDL and aBeZy quickly reply with 2 of their own. So what would be a 2 versus 4 if Atlanta are able to convert this. And you see Paul quickly looking toward that A Street, toward yellow containers, aware of what could be a flank. Zed is able to get the communication as now we have ourselves a 1 versus 1. aBeZy, is he aware of where Zed just went? Bomb is down, gonna get picked up. That plant opportunity, 18 seconds. Zed playing patiently, wants to go for the peak. Does spot the head, so he at least knows somewhat of an angle how to approach this. Huge round for either of our teams, and it's Zed who's able to take him down through the wall, shutting down trophies in stride as the big clutches continue to go the way of Ravens, as Zed is able to answer with this one, and now giving Ravens the lead.
Zed is the playmaker for London. He's just been the aggressor inside that plane. He opens up with the first blood. Eventually, it turns into a 2v2 situation, and him and Paul X do a great job at team firing onto the one player, and then it turns into a 1v1. And once again, the patience is coming out on top. He knows that aBeZy has to eventually work towards a plant. No one is ever in their mind going to go and try to plant A, so he's just going to put himself in an off angle to watch him as he crosses out from sight. Zed playing really well in Search and Destroy, as he always does for London. currently on the 3 spree. He's able to walk away with that round and now put his team in the advantage.
Let's going through from Zed. I mean, what, you told me coming into this, you're like, man, Zed, he's just a playmaker. He's a playmaker in Search and Destroy.
Yeah.
He is the guy for them that can just turn things around. You see his impact immediately felt as now we come into this one. And Ravens issuing a few more players toward the A Street. Well, we've got Zed and Shani now in this position, maybe going for a bait, at least looking to assist for that first blood, as Arcitys met with a fury of fire. And all that really Atlanta have to work off of is that, hey, we got at least 2 players toward A Street. That's what Cell's trying to focus on, while also keeping the other lane clear. And here comes the gun engagement. Zappius with the bomb. aBeZy's able to win the fight, though. The quick and extra shots as the Tiny Terrors are able to bring this one now to a 3 versus 2 in their favor. Zed off of the spree. Shani giving the call-outs. He drops. Now a 1 versus 2. Then working off the spree of both players, they try to go for the challenge, and they will win it out. It looked good for a moment there from the Ravens, but Atlanta able to answer yet again.
Yeah, Atlanta just hold on their defensive wins, man. And this is kind of bad right there from Arcitys, because he wasn't expecting that team shot. But the teamwork right now for London is really on point. They're putting Zed in a position to always be that playmaker. Fortunately, he drops on a 5 spree, so he wasn't able to pick up any streaks. But now Atlanta going into another offensive round. What adjustments do they decide to make? They know that Zaptius and Zed like to sit towards that back plane. Like to go there and just be really aggressive. Like, just don't give them the opportunity to throw shoulders at the bomb site and just try to plant it immediately. Because right now they're playing off angles to where they can't see you cross towards that bomb, but they cannot see what we see. But Arcitys is still going to be able to come out on top in that gunfight. It's going to put him at 10 kills on the map.
Big one there from aLLeY. Look to clear out 1 lane. Really with that early first blood loss, it is the Ravens now who are left to try and counteract. Dead and Zap, the SMG look to go for the challenge, but it's aBeZy who's able to drop 1. Zappius on the other end finds it, but overall the trade's working out at the hands of the Atlanta FaZe. They clean up the final player and now grab themselves a 5th round. Back and forth it has been, stud. And really that early pick that comes in from Arcitys is big, and really from there the Ravens, they felt the pressure. They try to go for the timing, and it doesn't work out.
Yeah, and now this is scary because London are going to be on offense, and Atlanta FaZe, they are really good at defense on this map. So what adjustments can London try to make to force it to go to a round 11? And I'm looking at Zed. He's been the playmaker so far throughout the entire game. Let's see if he decides to switch up his angle. So far, the last couple of offenses, he's went towards that A Street. He's going to be able to spot a trophy all the way across the map. Just taking his time, crouching, playing this different angle this time. But once again, London just slowing down their offensive push, hopefully allowing Atlanta FaZe to try to push up and be aggressive. It might catch them off guard.
What a massive opportunity this would be. London can force the round 11. aBeZy tries to go for the quick angle, but overall, no harm done in the end. Still yet, see a kill go down. aBeZy greeted with some fire, brought down to 46 HP, so he's left it back on up. And things are getting all kinds of cozy inside of the plane as Cellium drops the first onto Paul. There goes Zap as well. A quick 4v2, now brought down to Shani and Zed. And he looks toward tube. He knows somewhat of the presence felt toward the other side of the map over at that A Street. Meanwhile, Zed falls a 1v4 for the Scotsman, and there will be the round, and there will be the game. Atlanta FaZe making a very, very difficult search and destroy, coming down to round 10. But how about the final and late game plays out of aBeZy?
Just aBeZy and Simp. I was just watching them throughout that caster cam and just watching them throw shoulders through the wall. It has to be so scary, man, because you have aBeZy who's throwing shoulders off the site, and then Simp who's sitting right behind him throwing shoulders at the doorway. And it's just really difficult to try to take control of that plane with the Tiny Terrors, and they're just causing havoc, man. They really just secured that plane the entire time. Arcitys had a really huge game. I'm pretty sure he's going to end with at least 12 kills on the map. And that's a good bounce back right there from Atlanta, because we were talking about their S&D struggles, and now they have been able to get back into that form where they're winning these search and destroys, not in such a dominant fashion, but still being able to come out on top. and then now they got to work on their hard point. But getting the S&D, that's good underneath your belt, because if it does go to a Game 5, you should be able to take it there as well.
Yeah, nice plays coming through from Arcitys and aBeZy. Like I said, they finished with double digits. And as you called it, man, really is just the Tiny Terrors trying to handle this team inside of the plane. And I know it's you know, been some recent wins. This is going to be at least their second in a row here on Checkmate, getting the victory versus the LA Thieves the other day to close out the Game 5 and taking down the Ravens here in round 10. Like I said, man, when it comes down to this composition, when it comes down to this team, just the way that they are kind of structured, I feel like this maybe could be a map where they start to add this one into their map pool. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something that they can add into that map pool, because Atlanta FaZe, they picked up Tupac. Tupac might bring in a strategy where they're able to even work an A plant, and that'll be a miracle if he's able to do that. So just the fact that they are undefeated on this map, that's going to put them at 3-0 so far throughout the season. They have that confidence to start putting this a lot more in their map rotations.
Without a doubt, my friend, without a doubt. And like I said, we've been talking about the Tiny Terrors a lot, and they are going to be in our U.S. Army tactical play. We are winding this one back. To round number 2. Like I said, this is a big situation early. London have grabbed a nice early clutch round, but like we said, my man, it is really those top lane fights. It's the coordination out of the Tiny Terrors that are able to lock it in.
It's just so difficult. So aBeZy opened up with the first blood, and you know that Cellium is going to be sitting on this left side, making sure no one is aggressive towards this side of the map. But just look at the caster cam. You can just see these guys just constantly throwing shoulders from this bomb site. It's so impossible to try to take control of this, because you know the skill of these players. You know that Tiny Terrors, they're world champions for a reason. And now they just continue to hold down this plane. It's going to slow down the push from London every single round, because they just consistently are doing it. And aBeZy, he's able to take down the second. Eventually, a lot of trades come in. It was just overall just great teamwork out of Atlanta FaZe, but it's just so scary to try to push in plane with Simp and aBeZy there.
They're throwing shoulders so often. It's just like whack-a-mole. You can't find them. Like, okay, you get an opportunity to try to take them down, and they just quickly get out of your line of sight. But hey, like I said, solid plays coming in from the Atlanta FaZe as they lock up the search and destroy, and now bring us to a level heading. It is Garrison control when we come back after our break.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listenings are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenny, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenny.com/gaming.
This should be fun.
folks, welcome back. Hey, what a lovely shot there of the Raven. We're seeing virtual ones. Let's go and talk about the actual Royal Raven, specifically the newest addition to this team study. We talked about this roster, how many roster changes that they've made, how many team changes that they have come through now to this point in the season. I mean, literally, Shawnee is the only player from the original team. But one of those recent additions, right, is Zaptius. And what, kind of given their performance right now, obviously they're 1-1 right now with the Atlanta FaZe. Just kind of given their performance with him in the lineup, how do you think that he's fitting in right now?
It's really difficult, man, because when you drop the player or you put Dylan on the bench, you expect Zaptius to be coming in and just being one of those Slayer submachine guns. And you see it in the respawns, especially on hardpoint. This is a game mode where the entire team is just struggling in general. The guy's just not bringing it.
Yeah.
Like the series that they played versus New York, they won 2, 3, and 5. He stepped up in the search and destroy. He stepped up in the control. I'm pretty sure he had a 1.5 in the control versus New York. But just overall, he's not really the submachine gun Slayer that we were expecting to see. And obviously, with the series tied at 1-1 now versus Atlanta FaZe, he still have the opportunity to still bring those stats up a little bit. But just coming in for Dylan, which the caliber of player of Dylan, he had such a high ceiling, man. He was just one of those raw submachine gun players that you can always expect to try to go off, except when he goes up against Atlanta FaZe where he had a 0.4. But overall, Dylan is just a great player, and that's just one thing I was expecting from Zaptius, just come in and slay him. And so far, he hasn't really stepped into the plate for me.
And I gotta ask you too, like, how much do you think that environment has to maybe do with his performance? Like, I know, like I said, this Ravens team, they've gone through so many changes. I mean, they themselves are just trying to figure out like what's kind of going on with visa problems. I know they have coaches that are kind of getting out of the lineup as well. Like, how much do you think that maybe Zaptius's environment maybe plays into what has been kind of maybe a little bit of a lack of performance in comparison to what we thought he'd be?
Well, his environment is probably throwing him off a little bit, but him having Paul X, a guy who he has teamed with since the beginning of the year, he should be nice and comfy, man. And then the way that Shawnee and Zed are, those guys are great guys. I've been playing against those guys for a really long time, and I know the kind of people that they are. They're able to just bring people all in and just round them in, give them a nice little hug. So he should be feeling really comfortable with this roster for sure.
Well, hey, man, when we talk about wins, then that oftentimes can make you feel pretty good, maybe even add into that comfortability from time to time. But like we said, what can the Ravens do? And a nice start early coming through from Zed as he will clear out green. I don't want to say single-handedly, but he is just sprinting around the map. No hezzy whatsoever out of Zed. A great start for him, sitting currently at 3-0. We liked Atlanta, at least for a moment. They look to have some good coordination. Maybe again, they're going in toward A. That is quickly thwarted. Shut down off the rip. The initials constantly talked about really on the offensive side, but it's Ravens early. It's FaZe who are quickly going to answer back with 3 of their own. And Simp and Crow are going to go and try and stack now here over at this A point.
Yeah, so London opened up with 4 dead, and then Atlanta FaZe fought out of their base and killed all 4 players. So now you're going to see 3 players stacking over towards this A site. Now with 2 players dropping, it's still going to be a 2-man split, but they're still capping this A point really quickly. The second tick is already about to come in. They gain that information that Zed is going to be top green, and just a great play. Way to bounce back if you're Atlanta FaZe with the startup that you weren't really expecting. Cellium is hitting shots, but unfortunately he's going to lose that one. But 2 ticks are already on towards this A point. We have a tied live advantage. So far, London do not have any map control besides top green. With Atlanta FaZe getting on the speed point, they're able to stop this clock, but they're able to just push through it. It's looking like they're going to get off of it. Eventually, they have to stop this clock. Hopefully, they do soon.
Oh, Cellium, like that play, man. Showing him, hey, you can do it too. FaZe up, no big deal, right? Okay, Zed, why not? Just jump from the top of everything. It doesn't matter. 17 seconds, FaZe 1 tick away from capturing A, but much easier said than done. As they are pretty much between a rock and a hard place, given the fact that they don't have top green control. Nothing's going to have to change as the nice nade comes through from Cell, but it is 2 kills on the other side from the Ravens that will, in fact, halt this push with time ticking away. No buzzer beater here. A nice, commanding, solid defensive round out of the Ravens.
Yeah, the Ravens, it starts off with that initial break-off. Once they're able to trap Atlanta FaZe in their base with getting a clean 4 dead, you saw the way that they were playing up. They were turtling up in tools, so just taking their time, making sure that they were able to get all 4 kills. So eventually the clock is ticking, and eventually they have to work towards one of these points. They get out towards A where they get 2 ticks done, but eventually the pinch comes in, and they just win those engagements as well, take control of top green, and it was just really difficult for Atlanta FaZe to try to fight out of the base without having any green control.
I just gotta say, man, I love the plays from Zed, right? Kind of throughout that, and at times, talk about him, like his, at times can kind of be streaky, but whenever he is frying, whenever he's flying and frying, it is hard to deal with them. Like we said, 7-4 to start. Without a doubt, kind of caught Atlanta FaZe off guard. So now we'll see what they can do, the Ravens that being, now here on their offense. They will rush right in toward that B point. We often really see the Ravens play, quite a bit of checkmate, and really, they've been so good on their offensive rounds. Now Garrison, a little bit of a different beast, just in terms of map position, the way that it overall plays, but maybe that offensive prowess can start to translate. And really one thing that they've talked about consistently is just that they like to flood. They like to be annoying. They like to try to overwhelm the opposition with them hopping on multiple capture points. Is that really seemed to be the strategy off the rip of that offense? Unfortunately for them, they do get cleared off of A. Meanwhile, it is off of spawn. Paul X trying to lead the way, clearing out this B point, as that's now going to be their second tick over at B.
Yeah, right now they just have Atlanta FaZe on their toes. They have a 2-live advantage. Like you said, they were pushing both sides, so it's really difficult to what Atlanta FaZe want to be able to do. Like, what kind of play did they want to execute? And I'm just going back to that listening that we had on map number 1. Everyone was just doing their own thing, and I could just tell when those situations are happening, it's really difficult for Atlanta FaZe to probably just keep the composure and figure out what they want to do as a team. But Cellium, he's able to answer back with 2 kills right there to shut down, and now hopefully Atlanta FaZe is going to start pushing up for more map control.
Is it aBeZy? Somewhat of a slow performance, at least to start. 4-7 for aLLeY. What, 3-6 right now from aBeZy. Looking at those guys for the moment, but meanwhile, it's really been Cell who's been picking up a lot of the slaying, sitting on the 4 spree, 12-6 right now in this game, and very well could start to end the push over toward green. He at least finds one, and very well may be enough for the time as aBeZy. He's able to find a double. There goes Shawnee. So another wave cleared out there. If you are FaZe, a good situation currently, up 3 lives right now. And really with a minute on the clock, at times on Garrison, it can be so difficult to get these players, get the defensive members out of some of these cheeky spots, whether you're back tank, you're over at the railing, or even if you're in the base. Atlanta just trying to be annoying. And we'll see what the Ravens can potentially do. They've finally got that map control they've been desperately searching for, as Paul does get taken down. Meanwhile, it's Zaptius on the flank. He gets shut down as well. Ravens just continuing to try and make something happen, but they just keep getting shut down everywhere they turn.
Yeah, Atlanta FaZe is just doing such a great job of just holding down mid-map control, just keeping the map, keep playing real tight towards this A point, not letting any players try to slip through. And you're gonna see the aggressive push out of top green coming in from London. Arcitys is able to take down 2. There's only gonna be 2 players left for this last push from the Ravens. Simp, he's just gonna go all bottom himself and just challenge them, able to take down both players as well. But I'm pretty sure London, with this, since they were able to capture this B point completely, Atlanta FaZe, they were only able to get 2 ticks on towards that A point. So if it does go to a round number 5, the Ravens do have the advantage right now with more segments captured.
I love that ending fight. Simps just tries to go for the quick little punch.
Dash punch.
Yeah.
Pow.
Paul's like, you know who I am? I'm a little bit bigger than you, son. Decides to take him down. But Simp obviously had a great round number 2, clearly causing some problems. Maybe a frustrating type kill there out of Paul X. Nice long-range shots. Shawnee's like, I'm literally off spawn, bro. Guy's taking me down to 74U at range. Yeah, that's what he does. That is what Simp can do from time to time. But like we said, man, 1-1 scoreline. Really, overall, it's been kind of standard Garrison control up to this point. At times, it can really just be who can steal the offense, who can be problematic in that position, and really on attacking rounds and offensive rounds. I think after New York's last series, Atlanta actually did take the lead, take the #1 spot in terms of win percentage on offensive rounds. They sit at 48.7%. New York just behind them at 47.6%. All you really need to know is Atlanta, best team on offense.
They're pretty good.
They are pretty good. I mean, when you're winning 47%, I'll take that, especially on you're playing Garrison and what, checkmate.
Yeah, but now that's going to be 3 players down for London. All 4 players dropped. Not a single player from Atlanta has hit the def cam yet. But 2 ticks already coming in towards B. Atlanta changing it up this time. They saw how easy it was for them to get onto towards that A point. So can they chain these kills together once again? Now we have time extended by a minute. You see Atlanta FaZe, they're trying to push around the backside, trying to play around these spawn kills a little bit. But unfortunately, London is going to read it. They're going to put themselves in great position. Both players are going to get shut down off the flank, and now London have the opportunity to get some more map control by pushing up.
I want to ask you, like, when you're in this spot, right, when you're a team that quickly gets the A capture, or rather, excuse me, quickly gets the B capture, and then you have this A point, and you're really just kind of dealing with a number of different opposition members, whether it's the top green control, what angle, what portion of the map, if you're Atlanta, do you want to try to push first?
Oh, you definitely need to take control of bricks. If you take control of bricks, you can make anything happen on this map, and that's going to be 3 players down. So once they're able to do that, take control of bricks, you're going to spawn them out towards that back left tank, and that's the perfect scenario if you're Atlanta FaZe. You want to try to get these guys as far as possible so then you can just soak up as much time, but they're able to shut down that push if you're the London Roar Ravens. With 3 players going down, Cellium is playing nice and sneaky, able to take down Shawnee, able to take down a second as well. And Arcitys on the opposite side of the map is able to take down Zaptius. So that's going to be 3 players down, only 1 player, and he's not even close to the point. So you're going to see the opportunity for Atlanta FaZe to just flood out towards top 3.
Yeah, they just got to sprint. They got to sprint. They got to stack the point. Cell looking toward that top right crate. They run into the fight with Shawnee soon, but it's aBeZy up close. He's able to find one. Can anybody from the Ravens get there in time? And they will not. Taking down players from green, taking down players from bricks. As you call it, my friend, what do they got to do? They got to get that bricks control. Well, they're able to do that, and there they secure the round.
Yeah, I can't believe that Cellium was actually able to get that 2-piece. Like, I know Shawnee, he was turning in the corner with the Diamante, but the second kill, I thought he was definitely going to be able to get traded, but it's just perfect timing. Once again, you time those kills perfectly. Arcitys gets that kill all the way across the map, and there's just 1 guy left. But Cellium, he has that information. No players are going to be on point, and it gives the opportunity for his teammates to flood out towards top green. Great play right there out of Cellium. And we were just talking about it. Nameless said that he hasn't really been having a hot start to stage 3, but 20 and 10 is a good way to bounce back.
It absolutely is, man. 20 and 10, great start for him. Actually, he's sitting on that 4 spree, so definitely a player to look out for right now from Atlanta, trying to take down Paul from top floating. That will be a fight delayed for the moment, but the quick stack there from London over toward the B point, the way that they want to try to bring this one back. That's a nice double coming through from Paul and Zed. Zaptius as well getting involved in the fray, and a nice 4 down. Really, Zed, the only player alive through the middle side of the map, is quiet, maybe a little bit too quiet, but actually not. It's actually a good position there for London. They grab that B point nice and early. 2 minutes on the clock now. Try and make some work happen over at A. Is Paul finding a nice double. Is going to try to lead the slaying unit now toward this A point. Can we force the round 5? Or can Atlanta FaZe start to try and recover this? Get to see a full-on stack, but it's the ARs from London that are set up quite nicely. aBeZy there could be the one to spoil the party. No one's watching toward back green, but it doesn't matter. The Ravens, they have enough bodies in the point. aBeZy cannot get there in time. Without a doubt, one of the fastest rounds that we have seen. Well, we see Atlanta win on offense, and London says, all right, it's about time that we win on offense ourselves, as we've got ourselves a round 5 study.
And the round 5, this is going to be scary because I'm pretty sure since London came out that very first round, oh, well, I stand corrected. Forget it. Atlanta FaZe, they're going to go by kills now because they pretty much tied in the segment, so they're winning in that slaying department, so they will get defense, but Atlanta FaZe, 2 players dropping in towards top green. Paul getting that 2 and immediately going on to that point. It opens up the same exact opportunity that they had, just flooding out towards top green, overwhelming the players on the opposite side, eventually closing out that point. But now, what can Atlanta FaZe do different on their defensive round? Because they've given up this B point nice and early, extended it by 2 minutes. But off the rip, it's looking like London are going to try to commit towards this top green control. You have 2 players who are going to be up here, so Arcitys is going to have his hands full nice and early.
You see London really just valuing a lot that mid-map control. Arcitys looking to try to lock this one down, and how about 2? Nearly shuts down the 3rd. Meanwhile, it's Simp on the other side who does shut down Shawnee. So, at the very least, that B point is going to be secure. Paul can even get on the map. Okay, he does. Not for a moment, Paul may have lost his life to the outskirts of the map. A contested point. Big fight to win, and Paul now sitting on 4 in a row. You look at where the players are at on the map. It's 3 off of spawn. Farthest pushed up player is going to be Simp, and he really doesn't know which way to turn. He's got the A point being captured. He also has the B point being captured. Meanwhile, it will be his teammates who look to issue their forces over at A. It will be a successful fight. Meanwhile, Simp does get shut down on the flank. So really back and forth we go. Meanwhile, for the Ravens, because of that mid-map that they did have possessed, they will look to stack over at B, as they've now got 2 ticks in.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to extend this time by an extra minute. And Atlanta FaZe, they're going to be down 4 lives, and that's going to be 3 players down. So Number 6 and Cellium is going to have his hands full. Is he going to be able to read the angle from these players coming in? And no, Zed is going to be able to open up with the opportunity now for London to flood on towards his top green and get on this point.
Oh.
Look at Zed. He's making the play. He's flanking through bricks. He might be able to catch a couple players off guard, but one player is going to be able to spot him off spawn.
Is he him?
No, he's not. So Zed's going to be able to take him down. Zed's going to try to go for the second kill as well, but that's going to give the opportunity for Zaptius to set up on the pinch. There's only going to be one more player on this point, which is going to be Simp. But unfortunately, he has to try to stay alive. He's going to eventually get traded. So now London, all they have to do is just flood out of top green and win a couple engagements. But Atlanta FaZe here to try to counter.
What a play from Shawnee. Trying to stay up. A few more players left on the point. It's going to be Zap. Zap wins the fight. That's going to be the 1 versus 1. Players quickly trying to go for the contest. And so Zap, he's left to try to hang on by himself. And he's doing quite well. Atlanta doing everything in their power to just try and contest the point, but it's Zaptius who is staying alive. The Ravens continue to thrive over at this point. The stack is in, and it will be a Ravens W coming out clutch here in the round 5. And how about the rookie? How about Zaptius staying alive, hanging on for dear life? And overall, he makes the play that gives Ravens the W. Study. London up 2-1.
Man, I cannot believe that they just got that job done. I would have liked to see Atlanta FaZe not give up that B point so easy and just push up the middle of the map to gain more map control, put London in a little bit of a spawn trap, but London just did such a great job at just keeping top green control, keeping control of the middle of the map, and working that B capture nice and easy. They kept on extending it by an extra minute, so they were about 2 minutes and 15 seconds just to work 1 point. And as soon as they captured that B point, they were able to rotate over with 3 players down, getting that point nice and early. And Zaptius, we were talking about him before that map, even though he goes -1, he just made the play to win the game. Staying alive the entire time behind that tank was exactly what he needs to do, was just stall time for his teammates to get there. And London, they find themselves up 2-1 in this series, man. That's crazy. I can't believe they just got that done.
Oh my gosh, man. Stage 3. It's great. I know the series is not over by any means. I know we have like a Moscow hardpoint up next, which clearly is a great map for FaZe historically. But I'll tell you what, man, just the way that Stage 3 has been up to this point, we see London playing the way that they are. I don't know what to expect. My pick'ems, I'm quaking right now. I'll be honest, I am terrified of the way that my pick'ems are going right now. But you look at London, it is a happy team right now as they are laser focused coming into this Moscow hardpoint up next. Can they get the job done? Can they take Atlanta FaZe down 3-1? Or will Atlanta get us to that express where the Raven happens to be looking out over the map? Will we see a game 5 or is it here? We will find out in just a few moments. Think you know the Call of Duty League better than anyone? Prove it by playing CDL Pick'em this season. Make your match predictions each day by 12 p.m. Pacific time. And if you're right, collect your points and admire yourself on top of the leaderboard. Awesome prizes are available all season long for the biggest winners. So don't forget to get your Pick'ems And I tell you what, Standy, it is, it literally fills me with fear whenever I get told, hey, you know, make sure your pick'ems are in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't got those in yet. And tell you what, man, how crazy would it be if we can see London come away with this win? We talk about how much adversity they've faced off so far throughout this season, just with, you know, numerous roster changes. I mean, it's really been kind of a difficult atmosphere, difficult time for this organization. But what a win it could be if they could close things out here on this Moscow Hardpoint. At least just get the W here versus a team like Atlanta FaZe. Oh boy, as we take a look now quickly at our Game 1 stats, back to the original Hardpoint was the Ravens who were able to come away with that W. Really consistency across the board. Paul and Shiny lead the way in the slang. And what, it's Zaptius and Shiny doing well in that objective time.
Yeah, man, and watching London throughout this series so far, they have won both respawns versus a team like Atlanta FaZe, and they haven't really done it in the slaying department. It's just been the teamwork. At the very end of that map 3 right there, the teamwork really came out on top. And like you said, man, London have been thrown a lot of adversity throughout this year. They have multiple different rosters. I'm pretty sure it's 5 to be exact. But the fact that they're still here, they're still striving, still putting themselves in a position to close out these series, especially versus a team like Atlanta FaZe, you got to be feeling for the guys. And hopefully on this map number 4, they're able to close it out here, because London so far, they have been winning these respawns, and this is something that caught me completely off guard. But so far, they've been looking really good with just their teamwork.
And I guess there's two ways to look at this Moscow, right? Because, you know, you're looking at the other side, you see FaZe's record, it sits at 5-1. However, they did just lose this, the other day versus the Thieves. They lost Moscow Hardpoint for the first time, lost to 250 to 224. Major plays there coming in from the Thieves. So, like we said, Moscow HP, traditionally and without a doubt, FaZe, their best Hardpoint map, but they did lose it in their last series. Take that how you will here for the Ravens, but what an upset, what a moment this could be for the team if they could lock this one up. But do we have ourselves a classic Game 5, or will this one be where we call it curtains? Here we go, my friend, into the Game 4. Contested hill to start us off.
Yeah, and London is starting on good side, so it's all about just trying to play their life and trying to not allow any players to try to slip through and flip these spawns. But they're going to try to go in and open up with this engagement, and that's going to be shut down immediately. 3 players are going to drop. You still have 1 player spawning in the back, but 2 players are getting a split. So eventually the pinch is going to come in, and do Atlanta FaZe read it? Yes, they do, because number 8, he's spawning all the way towards back police. And aBeZy, you see what he's doing. He's just going to go top, just play his life, and just wait for his teammates to eventually get to him.
You see the awareness, right? aBeZy, clear and aware that somebody is inside of their base, but he doesn't know exactly where he is. Nice plays coming through from aBeZy, the 74U. Looking like a turret over toward top police. Like I said, they're grabbing seconds really toward the final few moments of P1. They've got that rotation set up, a current 2 versus 2 fight, but they eliminate Paul, and really from there, it is Zaptius licking his wounds, going back toward that Esky side. And really, that's kind of best case situation if you're Atlanta, right? Given the way this map started off. I know traditionally in P2, Ravens, they have looked great on this hill in prior. With that early flip, Paul looking to do everything he can, but he gets dropped. Just like that FaZe, they reclaim control.
Now with 35 seconds remaining, London, their first push has been shut down. So now it's all about just trying to think about that rotation. But they're also going to be able to give up a full 60 on this P2 hardpoint. And with those players dropping, this is the worst case scenario. You're going to have a couple players from London spawning on towards back old. 3 to be exact. So number 4, Zed, is going to have his hands full. You see the trigger discipline. Unfortunately, he's going to get traded. And just like that, Atlanta FaZe off the rotation, able to at least get 50 seconds off that P2, are now going to have the opportunity to be fully set up for P3.
Yeah, man. You get a P2, maybe a P3 chain. How terrifying this could be on the London side, as they will all spawn up toward that P1, toward middle. We'll see what the onslaught can look like. This was a map that London did drop to New York, and majority of that was because of actually this P3 hill. They really struggled on those money hills, as we talked about last series. As they look to try to break on in the close quarter fights, and Cellium doesn't even know where he's at. Somehow managed to take down Paul, and my goodness, what a fury of kills coming in there. As now, once the dust settles, we got ourselves a quick little 1v1. You see Simp waiting. At the same time, so is Zed. And to be honest with you, buddy, I have no idea what just happened. All I know is that FaZe, they just keep grabbing seconds. That's all I really know.
Yeah, I can't believe Cellium was even able to get 2 kills right there. It caught me completely off guard, but you see what Atlanta FaZe are able to do. They're going to give up that remaining 10 seconds and now starting to focus on that rotation. But with that number 8 player in aBeZy getting that pinch spawn, This can be bad for the Ravens if they cannot read this. They have to either push out Bank and take control of it nice and early, or just win a majority of these gunfights, and they're just going to choose number 2. So far, 2 players are going to be dropped from Atlanta FaZe. It's going to be 3 players spawning out towards Deep Street. But now with Cellium, he's going to have his hands full trying to stay alive towards back bank. Eventually, he's going to get traded, and just like that, London have broke the spawns. Now it's all about just trying to gain some more time on this hill to get back into this one.
Yeah, man. P1, P2, P3 somewhat controlled by Atlanta. Ravens now here over at the back boulevard. We'll look to try and bring this one back as we'll go and step aside and listen in with our Astro Gaming listening to the Royal Ravens.
He's behind the car. One's behind the bank.
One is missing though.
I hear. I'm playing against
Find golden food. Alright, team. Watch your thing now. Main take it. I'm back PD. Go there.
One just give me SQ. Arcitys.
Get one
I'm back PD.
He's pushed through his eye. That's one there.
Yeah, Asim. He's weak.
There's one P3 on you. It's one on your P2 or P3.
No, I'm
I did the P3.
I'm fighting your gold thing. Give me a sec.
Go through on me.
Nothing gold. Yeah, one gold now.
I don't flash anything as he said.
One more gold. I'm gonna go gold.
Behind me, push through P2.
I'm back.
Go for it. Plat's open then.
Yeah, I'm coming to time.
He came back for me. One fucking bullet.
Yeah, I'm fighting doubles. Just play that.
Yo, no.
One single on me.
aBeZy, one SQ.
One street now.
SQ's absolute.
Yeah, I'm back PT. I'm back PT. Oh, he's on gold.
There's 2 players. There's 2 players.
Here, team.
One was on gold, right?
Yeah, one was gold. I'm coming back gold.
I don't think he's on top of the bus stop. He's half HP.
I'm pushing down.
He ran back.
Someone wrap the street. I'm playing your left now. Left. I'm running street now.
I'm happy with you.
Yeah, sure.
Top of me.
I'm pushing on Nick.
I'm trying to Alex.
You wobble me. Good play.
Clive got me.
He pushed at the boss. He can't Alex.
No, he got me.
He's only goal before.
Alright,
You guys go around.
Yeah, we need to run.
One to be packed.
I'm coming through mid, Alex, go.
Yo, right.
I want you. Was that him? I flashed the pool flash them on premium rate, go.
He hasn't come back to me.
He still take it then.
To the way, I think.
Bring your plat.
I don't see him.
Can't see him, Elise.
Plat.
Bring your plat now. Plat ain't peeking. I'm pushing it go now. I can't see him there.
Well, what's that? Anything to grab from those comms there out of London?
I just loved listening to CDL lead the pack. Like, that's one thing that I was really looking forward to, is just to find out who is going to be the leader of this team, especially in these crucial moments. And CDL, he's really stepped up to the plate. The only thing is Atlanta FaZe, they were able to flip those spawns towards P2, and this is another full 60 on one of these hills where London are really good at. They just haven't had the opportunity to win off the rotation, and now that's 120 seconds that they're basically giving up on P2.
Yeah, it was Zed who, on the flight not long ago, said that really P3 is the struggle that they normally have. Like we said, the major conversation with them has been on those money hills. At times he said that, hey, we kind of value money hills a little bit too much. Sometimes we value hill like Fountain too much, so much so that we try to contest it with, 15, 20 seconds left, and we neglect the upcoming hardpoint. It just seems to be at certain moments, and again, Apocalypse is not included in this conversation, but just at times the money hills can be broken from this team quite easily, depending on whatever it may be. Just lack of comms, whether it's just the slang from the opposite side, whatever it may be. With 30 seconds left, at least clearing out the hill is a good sign. If you're an Atlanta FaZe fan, really just trying to be annoying right now is Arcitys. Really reclaiming a power position. Zaptius is in the middle of a fight, quickly turns around toward Book and tries to shut down Paul X. The pistols will value Arcitys in the end. The final 10 seconds possibly going the way of the Ravens unless Arcitys has anything to say about it. Zaptius wins the fight. Meanwhile, the focus instantly comes in toward Boulevard. It's Ravens spawning toward Bank. It's Atlanta now toward Back Street. A hardpoint that could bring the Ravens back, or a hill that could start to break this one open. The tiny tears combining for 4. Simp with 3 of those. And that's worst case scenario right now if you're London. Talk about the momentum, the hype coming into this hardpoint, whether they could chain another HP. But it's the SMGs out of Atlanta continuing to be problems as they're inching closer to that 200-second mark.
Yeah, man, they were winning. They had the numbers off this rotation, and unfortunately, they let Simp make that play where he's able to take down 3. So now they have to try to fight back in and get a break, and that's exactly what they're able to do. This game is far from over. With 20 seconds remaining on this hill, They have to make the proper adjustments this time to get P2. They need to guarantee P2. And you see what Zapdos is going to do. He's going to push around laundry side, able to take down one player. He's playing for these spawns. So London, they are playing this correctly. They just cannot give up a lot of time on this P1 hardpoint. You need to contest this P1 all the way down to the T, and a pinch is eventually going to come in. That's going to spawn all of Atlanta out towards gold, and this is the perfect case scenario right now for the Ravens.
Perfect case scenario, like you said, man. They make the right plays. P4 coming to an end. They value those funds over at P2. 60-point game. Atlanta looking to try to put the damage in just to try to inch themselves ever closer to that 250-second mark. Here over at P1. See Paul X, the boys of the Ravens, maybe even attempting a flank right now is Zed, trying to be a problem as he will take down 2. So meanwhile, off of that, Zed continues to win the fights up close, trying to delay as he is a one-man wrecking crew. The nade is the only thing that eventually ends up taking him down. The Ravens, they do what's necessary over at P1, and now it comes in to a Money Hill. Atlanta nearly within 30 points, other 20 points of locking this one up. Can the Ravens hold on? Can they play this one well? Said Money Hills, it has been the conversation. Now it's what they have to rely on to bring themselves back. Simp looks to lead the charge over at Boulevard.
Yeah, so they're all flooded through street, but the London player is going to spawn out towards back police still. But a pinch is going to come in from aBeZy. London have their hands full. They have to try to win a lot of these engagements and hold this full 60 here. Arcitys is able to take down one, but Simp, he's eventually going to drop. aBeZy eliminates the player off the time, so that's perfect case scenario for Atlanta. Here comes the pinch from them. They're all going to flood out the front side. They have to try to close it out here if you're Atlanta, but unfortunately 2 players are going to drop now. London is still trying to stay alive. They need this time. They cannot give this up. And you see what Atlanta FaZe are doing. They're just making sure that they can guarantee this rotation, even if they're losing in scrap time. With number 7, he's spawning a little out. Do they read number 3, which is going to be Shawnee all the way in the back? Unfortunately, he's going to lose that engagement. So now they have to try to sprint forward and break through the front.
Yeah, and with that spawn that Simp gets, they know exactly where they are going to be coming from. In toward Eskies. I don't think that flank toward Glass is even going to be an option right now. Eskies trying to make the clever plays. The nice early shots over to the player looking toward top book. Here comes Paul with N5. Our FaZe continuing to win the fights as they will shut the door in the face of the Ravens, not allowing for Moscow to go their way as we have got ourselves a Game 5.
Man, this Game 5 is going to be intense, man. And if you're London, this one's going to hurt because that P2 hardpoint, you basically couldn't get a second off of it until that very last rotation of hardpoints. It's a totally different game if they're able to get a nice early setup or at least get a break for the first 2 rotations onto that P2. Giving up 120 seconds, not able to execute a break, not able to execute a full setup, really hurt them on this map. So now we're going to a map 5 where
what's
this could be anyone's game.
What's the map?
It's going to be Express. It's going to be Express, baby. With the Raven flying around, you have Atlanta FaZe who are 2-5 on this map. So they're not really comfortable on it. And I'm pretty sure for London, you're going to be 1-2. So this is going to be an insane Game 5. I can't wait.
Oh my gosh, it is. Like we talked about a number of different times. Like there's been 6-0s that they've been dealt like 6-0s, 6-1 losses. Meanwhile, at times they could look great on Express S&D. Oh my gosh, it is going to be a crazy Game 5. It is, what, the 12th ranked team taking the number 1 ranked team based off of standings. The distance, stage 3, has been unbelievable, and it only continues to impress us here at our Paris home series. But folks, make sure to stay with us. Grab the popcorn, get the family around the monitor, because Game 5 is set to be a fun one. Stay with us as we've got Express up right after this break.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G.
Oh boy, do we have a final game for you. Is Atlanta FaZe, London Royal Ravens sending us the distance. We've got game 5, Search and Destroy on Express here in just a few moments. We gotta see exactly how socials reacting this. Of course, with our Astro Social soundboard, but we got last place team is beating the first place team. What is happening? London ain't playing around no more. Pick'ems are messed up again. Games are so intense. And then what is happening right now? I think that tweet in particular, Study, is the perfect way to kind of sum up this series. Really just to kind of sum up stage 3, but in this series in particular, I mean, what, man? What is happening right now? I really don't know what to say. I really don't, man.
Atlanta FaZe, they've lost 2 respawns in this series. That's why they find themselves in this position to go to a game 5. But London, with their teamwork, they have been able to come out on top, especially in that map 3, man. It was back and forth, but London were able to walk away with 2 offensive wins. And that's just something you don't really see, man. The teamwork is on point. We're going into a game 5 where Express S&D is just not a good map for Atlanta FaZe. They're currently 2-5 on the season, when on the opposite side you have London, who are 1-2, and one of those losses being versus the NYSL, where they were up 5-1 and they let that one go all the way to the very end and ended up losing them 6-5. But this is insane, man. So, based on these stats throughout that first S&D, aBeZy and Arcitys, they were really the show. But the way that Simp and aBeZy, they worked down that plane, it was all about that. But on Express, watching Atlanta FaZe play this map, it's really difficult for them to keep up with the pacing. If London wants to come out on top with this, they need to take their time on their offensive pushes and work everything as a team, because when you're challenging Atlanta FaZe with your teamwork, it's really difficult because they rely on a lot of their individual gun skill. But when multiple players are there, you should be able to come out on top in the engagements.
Well, Study, for a quick little moment, I know you were mentioning the the FaZe losses kind of as of recently on Express. Whenever they're frying, they are frying. Whenever they're losing, it's not so good. And I actually went back quickly and looked at their last 4 losses. So these are the last 4 losses that FaZe have had on Express Search and Destroy. A 6-1 loss to LA Thieves, 6-0'd by Toronto, 6-2 loss by Dallas, 6-0'd by the Guerrillas. Now, some of these losses obviously have come at a different time, or they've got Tupac obviously in the lineup now to help them with the Search and Destroy. I know for Ravens at times this map can be problematic. You bring up that loss they had versus New York, but the stage is set. What Nameless said at the start of the day, Express Search and Destroy, he does not want to see FaZe on this map. Well, that's where we happen to be. Maybe the kryptonite now being the one that you have to rely on to get yourself through the series. But what a moment this could be for the Ravens if they were able to take it. The 12th seed, taking the number 1 seed the distance all the way to a game 5. Who would have thought? But here we go. Indoor opening offense. It will be Ravens with the bomb in hand. Specifically Zaptius, as they look to try should really shut down the cornerstone here, that being Cellium. So he drops at the hands of Shawnee. The early first blood as aBeZy looks to try and poke himself out. Nice spread currently for the FaZe boys. Utility tossed. Then goes for the quick challenge. You see Zaptius looking to get involved in the fray. So trades favoring the way of FaZe, a current 2 versus 2.
And now this is kind of scary, because with 2v2 now, with the bomb being down, 30 seconds remaining, you're going to see the London players have to play out of their positioning. You see number 3, who's going to be sitting towards that top train. Shawnee was able to spot a couple players going towards that side staircase, so he's just going to be taking his time. I think that they're going to be able to wrap this out. The bomb's looking like it's going to go towards A. He's able to spot Arcitys, so he should be able to read their setup. That they are playing back-to-back. Both players are throwing shoulders, so there should be a free bomb plant over towards A. Now, how do they decide to play this? It's looking like Arcitys is going to work around back towards their base. Shawnee eventually is not going to be able to spot him, but he spots aBeZy, able to hit those shots, and he does read Arcitys coming up behind him. So now Arcitys in a 1v2 situation. He's going to put down a couple shots, give up his positioning, but he's trying to go for the 2-piece onto Shawnee. Shawnee just playing the clock, playing his life is exactly what he needs to do. is Arcitys has to be able to reload both weapons. It's going to stall a lot of time, but with 17 seconds left, this is basically an impossible round for Arcitys to try to win.
Come on! Shoddy, mate! What a play! In the sequence there, just try to stay alive. That is going to be so frustrating if you're Arcitys in that moment. I don't know how in the world the Scotsman is able to stay alive, but the clever dance moves out of really the sole Raven that has been there since the beginning makes the play. Walks away with the hat trick. As the Ravens will secure round number 1. By no means was it easy, but it's the name of the game, right? Glory, it isn't given. FaZe now walking to their opening offense. Then it will be that early A attack. Only player that is going to have the quick visuals will be Paul, tossing out some early utility. Trying to gain some information. And really what? London play early over at B. They say, hey, you know what? No one's going to be here. Paul's giving some call-outs. Trying to go for the read. FaZe continue to work over at A. Getting some shots in, but here's Zap, the first player to hop on in, and he will win that engagement. What a big one it is versus aBeZy.
And that nade not connecting onto Zap is not going to give up his positioning there. So Arcitys probably thinks that there's no one on the backside of this pillar. But the second nade comes in, and there you go. There goes the info that you were looking for. But now in a 4v3 situation for Atlanta, they don't really have the opportunity to try to wrap this bomb. They're so aggressive on towards this site. It's looking like they're just going to try to commit towards this A bomb. Zed is making sure that he's watching that late flank, but this play is all going to come down to Zaptius. If he's able to get this first blood, Shawnee's able to take down one. Arcitys is extremely one bullet. But Zaptius, being the patient player that he is, he's not committed to the gunfight, still relies on the teamwork. And now left in a 4v1 situation, London are playing perfect S&D right now to counter Atlanta FaZe.
And I got to ask you, I know, in retrospect, now that we kind of saw the play break down the way that it did, do you think it would have been the same result, or would you have rather seen Atlanta try to maybe go for the flip, try to go for the rotation over at the other side?
Yeah, I would have definitely liked them to rotate that, because just the positioning out of Zaptius, they knew that he was on that front pillar. So regardless of whatever you try to do to work that A bomb plant, it's going to be really difficult because the guy is literally right around the corner. So you have to eventually try to work something else. But at that point, they were just fully committed, and it was really difficult for them to try to wrap out. Eventually costs them the round. It was just great plays by Zaptius to open up with the first blood and just stay alive once again the entire time behind that pillar.
You just feel the momentum right now for the Ravens as Atlanta look to try and halt any of that progress. That's the right way to start it with the opening engagement. Zed does fall. You know, a lot from that first search and destroy. It really came down to the wire on checkmate. A lot of slow, methodical plays. Obviously, in the end, it was Atlanta winning it out, but major talking point for London was really the way that they kind of brought themselves back at times in certain rounds when they played slower. And made FaZe play into their hands was a major key to success for them. But like we said, the 3 versus 4, really just looking for an angle, looking for a peak. But you notice from Atlanta, right? They're playing for the retake. They're playing this one slowly, not trying to give away a free first blood. Zaptius will look to put this one down. Meanwhile, it's the fights toward the outskirts. Up close, both players happen to go big, as it will be Shawnee and Zap. Shawnee and Zap win it. Arcitys, meanwhile, on the bomb side, is going to walk away with 3. Arcitys and aBeZy combining. aLLeY with the double, an excellent retake that looked like it was going to go back and forth. But FaZe, they're able to secure it.
Yeah, that one got a little scary because I saw 2 kills go in favor of London right there to turn it into a 3v2 situation. But both of those players had to be one shot. So you're going to see Arcitys gets perfect timing onto Paul Lex right here. Second guy's a little hurt, and then aBeZy, he shuts down the third. So at the end of the day, they almost made that round possible, even with somebody getting first blooded right off the rip. Atlanta FaZe, they just hold. They use their teamwork right there to eventually set up the pinch and win that defensive round.
A big retake it was. Like you said, I really had no idea where that one was going to go. I saw those 2 kills pop up in the feed, and I'm like, okay, London, a solid retake. And then Arcitys, just out of nowhere, shuts them down. Great plays coming through from aLLeY. I know a guy that's been talked about a lot right in the new patch. A lot of people kind of expecting him with that crate just to continue to only get better. How great he is in the comms, how great he can be to kind of calm this team down. And, well, that's what you want at this point, Stud, right? You want a guy to kind of calm down a team that really has started to falter a little bit. Like we said, going game 5 versus the Ravens. They faced off in stage 2. It was a hot 3-0. No map was close. when they faced off last time around, but it's Zap again with the first blood over at the A site. The plant does get down, but no avail. The presence has been felt. The Ravens look to try and combine, look to get up close. Paul will grab the 74U off the ground. Look to try to find the play. Simp.
20 seconds left.
Look to make the play. That's going to be 2. Getting go for the 3rd. Shawnee's able to win the gun engagement, but it's inside of the train where Zed reigns supreme. 8 seconds left, and Arcitys, he has to try to take the players off the bomb, and he does! What a play coming through from Arcitys. Plays it exactly how he needs to as the 74U. The saving grace here for FaZe as Simp started the job, and Arcitys, he closes it.
And that was just such a great round. Great adjustments right there out of Atlanta because they tried that slow and steady A push right off the rip. And like I said, Zathi's positioning really costed them that round. But they just all out hit it. Even with a player dropping nice and early. Still to 3v4, they had the bomb down. Time is eventually starting to tick. So London have to use their teamwork to try to break in. And Simp the Pimp going big as usual with the big 2-piece right there. Eventually Arcitys closing out with the other 2. Way to bounce back. Now tie this game up all at 2-2.
Oh man. Arcitys. It used to be the guy, right? It used to be the guy. Does in fact make it through, so he has to be careful with aBeZy. Able to shut him down, but meanwhile, it is just an onslaught on the flank out of Atlanta. Meanwhile, bomb does go down, so really, we pretty much flip positions. London on FaZe's spawn, meanwhile, Atlanta in the Ravens spawn. It will be down to Cellium and Simp. 2 versus 3 necessary, but over on the other side of the stairs, it's Zed who's able to walk away with the first. Zaptius valuing his life. Look to stay alive. Cellium to the train. He gets dropped, and it will be London handling the early flank out of Atlanta and walking away with their 3rd round.
And that was just such a great round for both teams, actually, because London, they had one player who was watching the late flank, which was Shawnee. And then Arcitys, he was the only player back A. He had to just play his life. But the difference is, Shawnee got a kill and eventually got traded. Arcitys did it, and now it turns into a man disadvantage. So London, they just played that beautifully. They know that multiple players are hitting the flank. They hit out Arcitys, take control of that side of the map, and eventually close out that round. Good round out of London. This is going to be a war.
This is.
This is going to be a bloodbath. Multiple players trying to take control of this B side. aBeZy's able to open up with that first blood. So now they do have the opportunity to work towards this B bomb plant. You see number 3 in Shawnee. He's just going to back it up. Try to wait for an opportunity to try to open itself. Paulx is able to spot Simp. The bomb still is not being planted yet, but aBeZy and Simp just sitting in the corners of this little trash cans, holding both angles down, able to take down both players on both sides. That's a 2-piece for the Tiny Terrors each. And just like that, they're able to tie it up 3-3.
You told me at the start of the series, right? It's just a matter. We talked about it in our keys to victory as well. Like Simp and aBeZy, and even on a map like Express, like you get these guys flowing together whenever they're hitting strides. We talk about the accolades with these 2 in particular. Whenever they are together, whenever they're making plays, whenever they feel confident, how dominant they can be. As like you said, they secure the ace among themselves. The Tiny Terrors stamping themselves, making sure that they at least get noticed in this Game 5 search and destroy. Like we said, this series has had it all and then some. We find ourselves at a 3-3. London working now toward A.
Once again, Shawnee's going to have his hands full on the flank. You're going to have 3 players from Atlanta setting up for the pinch, and he's able to call out, give that information to his teammates. But this time, he's just going to reposition, get a little closer. So it's going to be a 4-4 retake if you're Atlanta FaZe. Arcitys, all you have to do is just try to stay alive on this side of the map. And unfortunately, he's going to drop. So that gives the opportunity for London to push up and take their control of their spawn. Zed's going to be able to take down the 2nd kill onto Simp, and now in a 4v2 situation, all left up to Mr. Cellium in a 1v4, able to take down 1, but this is basically an impossible round, and just like that, London walking away with another offensive win. They're just making it look textbook, man. They're just not giving up any opportunities. They opened up with that first blood on the Arcitys. They're immediately taking control of their spawn because they know they gained that information from Shawnee. There's multiple players pushing the flank. Once they take him down, you turn around. And just like that, they keep the control of the map, and they're able to walk away with the round.
And I think it's textbook search and destroy, and it's just great awareness, too. Like, it's great awareness out of everybody on the team. Just the coordination right now from London, like you said, on their offenses has been stellar. Back-to-back flank. Shawnee's able to handle it. He now leads the lobby in slang without a doubt. 9-5 up to this point. We'll look to only add on to that. Really, it's the Krigs from the other side that look to try and drop him early. Atlanta on the offensive side as Zaptius challenged up close. Another first blood for the Røkkr. He's only playing in, what, his 4th series now versus Atlanta, but he has to deal with the onslaught on the other side. The tiny tears, the Simp, taking down players not just with his gun, but also with his utility. The tacticals coming in clutch. As now it's all up to Paul and Shawnee in the 2 versus 3. Atlanta will look to plant that bomb, so it will be a man disadvantage. Now looking for the retake. Can Paul get the timing?
Paul he's able to take down Simp, so now it's going to turn into a 2v2 situation. You have both players who are playing low, so they're completely giving up control of either side. And do they read these players coming on the flank? You have one player pushing the side staircase with 25 seconds to Cellium. He's going to have his back turned. So I don't know if RC is going to be able to help him, but he is. He's going to time it perfectly, able to take down Shawnee. Now left in a 1v2. All you need to do is a little shimmy. Do a little shoulder right here if you're Cellium. All you have to do is just stall some time eventually to close out this round. And that was just great teamwork, great coordination right there out of Atlanta, especially Simp. He gets the first kill, and then somehow, some way, kills the second guy with a flashbang. That really opened up the round right there. Now we're all tied at 4-4.
This is literally the exact same search destroy that we saw on Checkmate. Like it was
game
literally
2.
Back and forth throughout the entirety of the time. It was nobody really going on any streaks. Like we never had like a 3-1, 4-1 type of situation. It was neck and neck all the way throughout. London, a team that at times has been talked about their search destroy, really need to be improved on it, and how great they have looked as of late. 4-4. They do on the offense as Arcitys grabbing a nice angle off the rip, taking down Paul. Aware of Zaptius' angle, and there's Simp as well. The early 2 engagements going the way of FaZe, and you like to play from them, right? Just back up. Don't try to give away anything unnecessary. Johnny and Zed pretty much look at each other back to back. Maybe even a nice little fist bump and say, all right, we got this. Do what we can do. Do what we can try to make happen. This FaZe a great chance on the cusp, potentially, of grabbing their 5th round. Question being, what can the Ravens do, if anything?
Yeah, and it's 4v2. It's going to be really difficult to try to come out on top of this one. The bomb is going to be down towards that A bomb, and eventually you have to work that plant. So one player has to keep his gun up, one of them has to put his gun away. But just the switching up of the play from Arcitys specifically, he was sitting at AR, he was that island player multiple times in the back of the site. He switches out the sub, give him the hat trick on the round, goes out towards top control, able to get the first one, comes out, gets the next 2, and that's a good adjustment. Good mid-game adjustments out of Arcitys specifically. Just pulling out that SMG, getting a little aggressive to help out Simp.
All right, stud. I'm going to ask you, what does London need to do? What do they need to do in this round to send us toward that round 11? What needs to be the play? How do they secure this defense here?
Well, this is going to be a little scary because Atlanta FaZe winning that round and Arcitys pulling out that SMG, they might be aggressive towards B. So if you're London, it might be a head battle right off the rip. And it's looking like they're going to have 3 players going straight towards this B site. So this is going to be a bloodbath. But the way that London are playing this, they're not trying to overextend up towards that bomb site. So might be able to catch a couple players from Atlanta FaZe off guard in the positioning. But Cellium, he's able to push up, able to get the first blood. And now that's going to completely ruin the setup from the London Royal Ravens.
And with this angle, it can be so problematic. Shots to the side there to Shawnee. And his way all the way around and takes down Shawnee. He's also going to maybe find Zed as well. It's panic time for London. Paul, the last player alive. Now left in the 1 versus 3. What a clutch it could be for this guy. And the stable force behind the Ravens, but they see his position. They know where he's at. And that will be aBeZy, who locks things up. Atlanta FaZe, they stay alive in a series that treated us all. They make the comeback, they stay alive in the hard point, and they secure the search and destroy. But it was a gauntlet. You have to give props to the other side. It's got to be somewhat of a frustrating moment for the Ravens. Still, the improvements without a doubt are there. But a sigh of relief out of the Atlanta FaZe camp there with that W.
Yeah, you got to be feeling really good if you're Atlanta because obviously that map wasn't going like really good for them in the beginning of it. But they kept on putting Arcitys in an island, and they kept on just picking him apart. He was relying on his teammates to hit that flank a little quicker, but just kept catching him off guard. And eventually that mid-game adjustment, we decided to switch out to that submachine gun, was really the swing round, because now it throws London completely off guard. They were like, Arcitys is usually the player that's going to be playing in the back, but this time he switched it up on us and he got a 3-piece. So he's probably not going to do that again, and they just walk away with that win in a 6-4 fashion, man. And it was just that Atlanta FaZe push. Once they build that confidence, a couple rounds underneath their belt, they pushed out towards B, and Cellium just being aggressive towards lower really caught London off guard. Once they open up with that first blood, like I said, it completely ruins the setup. You have players that are at that A site that have to rotate all the way back, which gave the opportunity to Simp to eventually hit that flank and have that 2-piece get done, and it turns into a 4v1. It's impossible for paulLLeY to come out on top. And that's where Tupac really came in to help them right there towards the very end of that game.
Without a doubt, man. Like I said, Search Destroy, it's been the topic we discussed, Express, at the start of the series, even before we do the map vetoes. We were talking about this map, but they're able to come away with it, a major W for this team, and like I said, specifically on this map. But when we talked about Express kind of all throughout this one, I feel like one player that we were highlighting a lot was, in fact, Arcitys, and he will be kind of our featured player, if you will, throughout this highlight here for our scuff play of the game. Arcitys making the plays, obviously finishes off with a great scoreline, but his impact, without a doubt, was felt in this round 4, stud.
Yeah, this round 4 is where you saw Zaptius open up with the first blood. So I'm pretty sure Simp was able to get 2 on this round, but Arcitys, he really comes out clutch in a 2v1 situation with the clock going all the way down to the wire to able to take that on the first guy who was completely one shot and then eliminate that bomb carrier. But right here, Atlanta FaZe, they start off in a 3v4 situation with Zaptius getting that first blood. But I feel like London, they just wasted way too much time to wait for each other to try to execute this push here. So with 17 seconds left, Simp's going to get a 2-piece. And with 15 seconds, you have to get this kill and eventually immediately try to hop on that bomb. And this is where that timing really comes in handy for Mr. Arcitys. He's able to walk in, take the player down that's completely one shot, and just eliminate the player off bomb. London just took way too much time just trying to retake that after getting a first blood. You need to be a little quicker there.
You see like the reaction. It's like, okay, cool, we got the W, but definitely some work to be done. Right, when we talk about this team, a major victory for this group. As we'll now take a look at Atlanta FaZe's road to the major, starting things off a little bit slow there, obviously with New York, but they get the W in the game 5 here versus the Thieves. They get the job done in the game 5 versus London. So we said back to back game 5s for the Atlanta crew, but they've still got Surge and OpTic up next, stud.
Man, this is going to be difficult because the way that Atlanta FaZe are looking right now, every series is going to a game 5. And the thing about this is Seattle Surge, they just improve every single time we watch them. And in OpTic, we know what kind of respawn team that they can be, which is one of those top dogs. And on the opposite side, you have the Ravens, who are currently sitting at 1-3. Their last match is going to be against Seattle Surge, but I feel like the Ravens, ever since their last 2 games, they're really starting to improve. Like the first 2 games, it was really difficult. You got OpTic, you got Thieves, but then they come back versus the Subliners. They take that series, and then they keep it real close versus Atlanta FaZe. So improvements for the London Royal Ravens every single game that they have played so far.
Absolutely, man. It's been a hard group, right, for the Ravens. Without a doubt, it's not been easy for this team to try and recover, especially in a group like this. But folks, it is a W at the end of the day for the Atlanta FaZe. And we come back after this break. It is Loony joined alongside by Arcitys. Showing out, FaZe up, baby. FaZe up. Arcitys in here in just a moment.
The Call of Duty League is presented by Scump, the official controller of the Call of Duty League. The US Army, what's your warrior?
Hello everybody and welcome to your Game Fuel Victory Spotlight. Joining me, I do have the one and only Arcitys from FaZe. Arcitys, I've got to ask you, man, you were brought onto this team to lead the way and you've led through an incredible start to the season, but recently you guys have faced some adversity. I want to know from a leadership point of view, what has changed in terms of your message to the boys? How difficult has the struggles been?
I mean, looking outside of it, our struggles are very bad, but like the way we're playing, we know what we're doing. We know our S&D reps are getting up. Obviously, we don't want to go get 5. No one does. But like, if we're gonna come out and try to win it. Like, we're winning a lot of S&Ds recently, and I don't know. We just gotta take it map by map, game by game, and series by series. We're looking a lot better in scrims, and like, we're focusing on a lot of stuff like outside the game, like comms and everything. We're not worried about our shots anymore, so like, we're just focused on the most important stuff right now.
I like that. You have your priorities, and you are right. Your S&D has been improving, and speaking of that, you guys have brought on a new S&D coach, Tupac. What has that process been like, having a new coach and really starting to home in on the S&Ds and specifics there?
I mean, Pac's a great guy. He's a burger though at S&D, but I think he just makes it so like we're more confident in ourselves. We're more like, we know what we want to do at the end of the rounds. Like, if we have to go defuse a bomb, he's gonna be like, yo, like, you guys should do this, 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 and we're like, yeah, we know, but like, he's like, just do it, and it just makes us won't go like rogue and play 1v3s or 1v2s on the map. So he helps us a lot, like a lot during scrim. So I love the guy, even though he's a burger.
Amazing stuff. He's a burger, but you love him. Fantastic. I love everything that I'm hearing from you guys, and quite obviously it is working. So congratulations and best of luck going forward in stage 3, man.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. You've heard the IGL Arcitys and what he's had to say about this. But we do have another banger coming your way very, very shortly. We got Dallas taking on LAG to see exactly who is going to come out on top for this dub. And we'll see you guys right after the break. The Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL 2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listenings are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of the Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenny, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenny Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenny.com/gaming.
Hello and welcome to our T-Mobile weekly drop game. Maven, joined by the glorious and beautiful Joe Merc DeLuca. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. It's a beautiful day outside. It's May already. Can't believe that. But,
yeah.
You know, we've had some crazy CDL games. We had another Game 5 banger right there. Hoping for some more to come.
Yeah, and this one's interesting, right? We're going with two teams here that recently had a, 3-0 loss to Toronto Ultra, looking to bounce back. Both teams that recently made a team change as well, position changes. Some similarities here for sure. Not sure what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah, I think that's just sort of it, right? You go through a couple of roster changes, and one of your first opponents is the Ultra, and that is not an easy